Hot Rod High, 8:32, and gosh, I just spent the last 2 minutes in therapy trying to talk Holly Gale off the ledge. My gosh, I don't know where she came up with this thing that the Muppets in Sesame Street weren't the same thing.
I don't know, but Jim Henson started, a career in the mid-'50s, but I don't think the Muppets were around until the late '60s.
No. Well, actually, November 10th, 1969, the birth of Sesame Street. That's the reason we celebrated its 55th anniversary.
Well, there you go.
But man, she ran out of here like she couldn't. I think maybe she was having a little age crisis.
It could be, but I saw her just drinking straight from the coffee pot earlier today.
And she was pouring it into her beanie.
There you go.
Time for news brought to you by Roger Hemming LLC. Find Roger, and again, he'll be on the west side for you for all your construction, overhead doors, and fencing. And once again, here's Bill.
Thanks, Steve. Good morning, everyone. In part two of our interview with Scioto County engineer Darren LeBrun, we ask if the heavy rainfall from last year, combined with unseasonably warm weather, affected our roadways.
Yeah, that's a good question. It does affect the roadways. So water is the enemy to a roadway, and that's why we put a lot of effort into making sure the drainage system on a roadway works. So, of course, first thing you want to try to have your ditches set up for drainage, and to make sure that, if it does rain, that the ditches and that system can get the water away from the roadway. We're doing crack sealing right now on some of our county roadways, so you don't want water to get in through the asphalt pavement.
Our county engineer also spoke with us about the amount of bridge work his department is doing as well.
So we have 502 bridges in the county that we're responsible for. The definition of a bridge in Ohio is anything that has a 10-foot span along the center line of the road or larger. And we have the county and township roadways. That's a lot of what we do right now. We have an annual inspection that we do on those roads. So we put our eyes on each of those bridges annually to make sure, everything's safe for the traveling public.
We'll have more from Engineer LeBrun throughout our day today before wrapping up the segment tomorrow. Meanwhile, inflation here in the United States ticked up in October, driven by costlier rents, used cars, and airfares, a sign that price increases might be leveling off after having slowed in September to their lowest pace since 2021. Now, consumer prices rose 2.6% from a year earlier, according to the Labor Department. That was up from 2.4% in September, and it was the first rise in annual inflation in 7 months. Now, during this week's Portsmouth City Council meeting, a first reading was given to a measure that would pay McGovney Realty $200,000 for an easement needed for the flood wall repair project. Councilman Andy Cole questioned the duration of the proposed contract.
My concern for this contract is that we are guaranteeing a $40,000 a year payment for 5 full years, where if this construction ends on year 2 or 3, it seems wasteful to continue to pay for $40,000 for an easement. Is it possible for us to enter into a contract with McGovney for a 3-year period for the $40,000 a year at $120,000 versus $200,000, and given us a 2-year optional extension if needed?
City Solicitor John Haas weighed in with his opinion.
Compensation for the easement, and so we save some money there. I don't know if we do a 2-year, 3-year, or $40,000 a year, if the Governor folks will agree to that, number one. Number two, I don't know that the Army Corps will either.
The measure was eventually granted a first hearing, and federal regulators announced oil and gas companies will be required for the first time to pay a fee for excess methane emissions, a rule likely to be overturned once the Trump administration takes office in January. Now, the move stems from the 2022 Inflation Reduction Act initiatives supporting clean energy. It's characterized as a superpollutant. Methane is 28 times more potent than carbon dioxide. The oil and gas sector is the largest industrial source of methane in the United States due to its reliance on a process known as gas flaring, a cost-cutting and safety measure that burns off excess gas amid drilling operations. For Mix 99.3 News, I'm Bill Shope.
Well, yesterday when Joe Biden and Trump met, social media just jumped all over the fact that Joe appeared to be so happy and, jumped up, grabbed his hand that he couldn't believe it, because really, if you look at the campaign, Joe said some awful, awful things about Trump.
Yeah.
And it went the other way as well,
Well,
too.
sure.
But I would have thought their first meeting after this really high volatile election that Biden would have been a little more less cordial. As a matter of fact, we have the real, I think there's two sets of news here. You've got what, they're trying to troll out here to the general public. But I think really we've got the real skinny as to what Biden said to Trump when they first met.
You want to take on my man C here, go ahead, because, he's fierce. He's going to come up in your face. He's going to major damage you. You're going to walk away, maybe limp. But I say talk to the hand, call waiting, because he's out. Boy, is out. I can't restrain him because I'm conversating you right now to give him a chance to cool down, to get back to a realistic level, as it were, because we could be chilling in our crib, not just on this mobile home thing, representing Malibu and Westwood, mauling it like we all can, boys to mensch. Right. Pimp my Mercedes, call me back, put you on hold. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The truth will set you free.
West Coast Joey B.
All right. Thank you, Bill. This update brought to you this morning by Roger Hemming, LLC. Find Roger on the west side for all your construction needs, including overhead doors and fencing.
Southern Ohio Overhead Doors and Fencing has all kinds of garage doors in multiple sizes and colors for commercial and residential use and offers both sales and service. Fencing-wise, there's wood, vinyl, metal, and chain link. Southern Ohio Overhead Doors and Fencing can custom make gates and is the only company around that can install and service electrical gate openers. Southern Ohio Overhead Doors and Fencing, 22115 State Route 73 West Portsmouth at Roger Hemming Contractors, LLC. Phone 740-529-0133. Guaranteed lowest prices, financing available, credit cards accepted. See store for details.
Yeah, it's 838 downtown. We've got 46 in ONN.
This is ONN. I'm Jay Fox on the Ohio News Network. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine announced that Ohio will receive $100 million in federal funds to fight opioid use disorder and prevent deaths. This is the fourth round of these SOS grants, which are managed by the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services. Priorities of the initiative include increased access to substance use disorder treatment, greater access to life-saving naloxone, and statewide education efforts. A former Columbus pastor is being charged with raping a child under the age of 10 multiple times. Tracy Townsend of ONN affiliate WBNS-TV reports.
George Bell is charged with 4 counts of rape and 2 counts of gross sexual imposition. According to the indictment, the crimes started in 2020 and continued through this year. Bell used to be a pastor at Anchor Baptist Church before resigning over the summer, citing personal reasons.
In Northwest Ohio, a convicted former county commissioner has been reelected in Monroe County. Andre Norrells of ONN affiliate WTOL-TV in Toledo explains.
This comes after a judge sentenced former commissioner and board chairman Mark Brandt to 18 months in prison when he pled guilty to possession with the intention to distribute marijuana and THC. Commissioner Randy Richardville took over as chairman once Brandt resigned. Mark Brandt won re-election last week.
For the Ohio News Network, I'm Jay Fox.
And it is time now once again for sports, brought to you by Roger Hemming, LLC. Find him on 104 for all your construction needs and, of course, overhead door and fencing. All right, in sports, well, on this Thursday morning, we're going to find out what's up. And once again, here is Chuck.
Well, the Cavs continue their winning ways, Steve. They took down the Sixers 114-106 last night to improve to 3-0. The Cavaliers are just the 6th team in the history of the NBA to open up the season with 13 straight wins. Darius Garland had 25 points last night, while Donovan Mitchell added 23. Tonight in the NFL, the Commanders will visit the Eagles for an 8:15 kickoff. That game will be streamed on Amazon Prime Video. The Bengals have the Sunday night game this weekend. They'll play at the Los Angeles Chargers. The Browns, after having a week off, will visit the Saints Sunday at 1 o'clock. In college football last night, the Ohio University Bobcats defeated Eastern Michigan 35-10 at Peden Stadium in Athens. That win improved OU to 7-3. Miami of Ohio knocked off Kent State last night 34-7. The Redhawks are now 6-4, and Northern Illinois prevailed over Akron yesterday 29-16. The second-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes will be in action this Saturday, playing Northwestern at Wrigley Field in Chicago. That'll be a noon kickoff Eastern time. Be sure to tune in to the Coach Ryan Day Show today at 1 o'clock. You can hear both Saturday's game and today's Coach's Show on Fox Sportsmouth AM 1260 and 95.7 FM. If you're going to watch the Buckeyes on television Saturday, please make this note. That's not a big noon kickoff on Fox. Instead, it's going to be televised on the Big Ten Network. In high school playoff football tomorrow, the Wheelersburg Pirates will take on West Muskingum in a Division V Region 19 semifinal game that will be played at Joe Burrow Stadium in the Plains at Athens High School. You can hear that Round 3 matchup right here on Mix 99.3. Pregame coverage tomorrow will commence at 6:30 leading up to the 7 o'clock kickoff. As for other high school playoff football games in the Buckeye State tomorrow involving regional teams, the Ironton Fighting Tigers will take on the Harvest Prep Warriors from Waverly's Radier Field, and Eastern Pike will square off against Conotton Valley at Heath High School. In other high school sports yesterday, there were plenty of signings all around the area. A lot of high school seniors inking the papers saying they're going to take their athletic talents to the next level. Portsmouth's Deja Reed is one of them. She signed with Georgetown College yesterday. The 5'5" senior guard was second-team All-State last season and averaged 15 points per game in helping the Lady Trojans advance all the way to the Final Four. Reed is going to connect with former Shawnee State coach Jeff Nickel at Georgetown. A few other signings to mention. Wheelersburg softball player Kaylin Carter is taking her talents to the University of Findlay. Valley golfer Cameron Phillips, who won a state championship this fall, signed to play at the University of Kentucky. Best of luck to them and all the others from our area who have signed to play collegiate athletics. Your Portsmouth Insurance Sports Time is 8:42. Portsmouth Insurance is a TAH benefits partner. Give Gary Duzan a call for all of your employee benefit needs. And that is a look at sports.
All right, and thank you, Chuck. And brought to you this morning by Roger Hemming, LLC. Find Roger, 104 on the west side. We got traffic weather one more time coming up.
Southern Ohio Overhead Doors and Fencing has all kinds of garage doors in multiple sizes and colors for commercial and residential use and offers both sales and service. Fencing-wise, there's wood, vinyl, metal, and chain link. Southern Ohio Overhead Doors and Fencing can custom make gates and is the only company around that can install and service electrical gate openers. Southern Ohio Overhead Doors and Fencing, 22115 State Route 73 West Portsmouth at Roger Hemming Contractors LLC. Phone 740-529-0133. Guaranteed lowest prices, financing available, credit cards accepted. See store for details.
And it is your traffic and service of your good friends at the Scioto River, 1024 Gallia Street. And the river's going to be there with delicious legendary steaks, chicken, ribs, more, or they'll come to you too during the holiday season. They do love to cater. Not a bad morning. It's been a wet one. We've had some ponding water, but we got wet leaves out there that are kind of slippery, so be careful on that. And a state trooper, if you're traveling the corridor this morning, US 23, just south of the 32 exits. So see something we need to know about, give us a call at 354-1993. Traffic service of the Scioto River opens 7 days a week.
The weather service of Monroe Frame Collision and Now Wheel Alignment. Monroe's is your full-service body and maintenance company with 30 years of service and 4 locations: Portsmouth, Ashland, Jackson, and Chillicothe. Family-owned and car owner-friendly. Call 353-7279 for Monroe's Frame Collision and Now Wheel Alignment.
First alert forecast from WSAZ. It's a first alert weather day today with that rain steady at times from the morning, scattered about into the afternoon. Excellent for the droughts and brush fire threats, but not so much for the roadways. Highs in the 50s today, down to the 40s tonight. Stubborn clouds hang on with a few early showers Friday. Temperatures in the 50s. I'm WSAZ News Channel 3 meteorologist Brandon Butcher on the Ohio Valley's hit music channel, Mix 99.3.
And downtown right now, cloudy skies we've got, 46 as we get up.